Welcome everybody to the 2020 Sanford Candidates Forum. My name is Shawn Sullivan. I'll be one of your moderators this evening. I'm a local reporter with the York County Coast-Star weekly newspaper, and I'm joined with local reporter Tammy Wells, who is a reporter for 2 weekly newspapers on our coast. This is the school committee segment of our forum, and we have 3 candidates seeking 2 3-year seats on the school committee. One of them is incumbent Emily Sheffield, and the 2 challenges are Amy Sevigny and Paula Cote. Welcome to the 3 of you. I'll just lay down a little bit of ground rules first. We have 4 questions for you this evening. Tammy and I worked on them together, and nobody else has seen them but us before this very moment. We did accept some feedback from the public so that we could get a sense, either get questions directly or get a sense what the public is thinking about and wants us to ask you this evening. You will have 1 minute, 30 seconds, 90 seconds to answer each of these 4 questions. And then at the end of it all, 2-minute closing statements. Just so you know, at the end of your time for each question, and indeed for your closing statement as well, the mute button is activated. So we want to keep one eye on the clock and make sure you get in everything you would like to say. Okay, so for that first question, Tammy, we go to you.
Okay, are you ready, ladies? Okay. Some other communities and some in York County, I think, have voted to cease funding for school resource officer programs. How would you vote on that issue and why? And we'll start with Ms. Cote.
Well, I personally think that the officers should be in the school. I think it's a calming presence to the kids, considering the different issues that we have had, the shootings and the lack of a sense of safety for the kids. So I would like to see them back in the schools.
Thank you. Ms. Sevigny.
I agree with Paula. I believe that the school officers are vital to both the Sanford Middle School as well as the Sanford High School. They add as a good positive role model, as well as, I mean, I just think back in the day of, you know, still remembering the police officer that was there when I was back in school and remembering them as, again, like I said, a positive role model and someone to look up to. So I think it's important that they remain in our schools.
Thank you. Ms. Sheffield.
Thank you. I'm a little bit different. I don't think I completely have enough data to make a clear decision at the moment, but I'm certain of 2 things. One is that we have a segment of the student population who feels disenfranchised and passionate about this topic. And so that should be enough that any school district would take a look at this and the role that they play in our schools. We have an obligation for all students, not just the majority. But at the same time, I also recognize that, and I've witnessed the good work of SROs in our school in conjunction with counseling services in those times, especially of need when kids are in crisis. So it's finding that balance. We did have a workshop already in our school district. I think that needs to be explored more. Because one thing I learned from that workshop is that we do not, as a school district and a school committee, have enough buy-in and say on who in particular the SROs are in our school. So at this point, I can't make a definitive yes or no, but it warrants a very broad discussion.
Thank you. Shawn?
Question number 2. As the COVID situation continues in Sanford, what must be done to enhance our students' educational experience from an academic and from an extracurricular viewpoint? Please keep in mind during your answer the Maine Center for Disease Control's current guidelines and restrictions. And Ms. Sevigny, you're up first.
I would say that I think continuing with the collaboration between the school district as well as programs such as the YMCA that has done a good job with the Sanford Middle School, allowing those students to, and offer, I guess, places for those students to go. And maybe some outside programs, outside community members that might be willing to help with bringing everybody together. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Sheffield.
Thank you. So I think this just is a difficult question because it's also new to us and new territory. I do hope that we take this and we're better prepared if something like this comes around again. In terms of curriculum, I think it would have, in hindsight, I think it would have benefited us again, to be more prepared, but also if the state were a little bit more prepared, the Board of Education, and had rolled out some earlier guidelines for school districts. In terms of extracurriculars, I think this is where the community and school collaboration needs to step up, lean on each other, the YMCA, the Park and Rec Department, and so that kids still have an outlet for their extracurriculars.
Excellent, thank you. Ms. Cote?
Thank you. I agree with both Amy and Emily. I think that as far as extracurricular activities, which are so necessary for just mental health and development of our children, I think getting together with different entities in the community and having community members that can help volunteer or, you know, throw some ideas in there so that we can do something for the kids that is organized and yet follows all the protocols that the CDC has come up with, and to be able to do that with the flexibility, knowing that it could change from week to week, but definitely working together. As far as academics, I would say communication and making sure that everybody knows what the clear protocols are for communication, and this is between administration and teachers, teachers and students, administration, teachers and parents, all around. I mean, every organization could use a little tweaking in their communication, and this is no different than that case, and it's even, you know, more necessary because this is just such a crazy time. It's unprecedented. So, yeah, that's what I say.
Excellent. Thank you very much, all three of you.
Hi. It seems like this year, the main discussion has been all COVID all the time, and with good reason. But if we were to take the pandemic out of the equation for a moment, what would you say is Sanford School System's most pressing challenge, and tell us the steps we must take to overcome it? And we will start with Ms. Sheffield.
Okay, most pressing challenge. I think as much as I strongly believe communication is always going to be in the forefront, our budget is going to be the most pressing challenge ahead. And how I think we conquer that is representation matters. And so you having a voice on the local level, at the state level with your representatives and senators is going to be critical. So this voting cycle is really, really important for your state, to get your state people in there that are school-minded and that you can collaborate with, and they will make sure that they represent you well up there, because it is going to be a tough budget cycle, tougher than ever before. It's never easy. But I think having that voice up at the state level will help us.
Thank you. Ms. Cote.
Hi, yes. I do have to say that I would agree with Emily. I think budget is always, I mean, there's always, everything is a pressing matter because it has to do with our children's education. And education is such a cornerstone of a good life, a productive life, a positive life, and a successful life too. And it just ripples out into our community and the state and our nation as a whole. And so, but budget is right at the center of that. And I think the fact that COVID is here is also going to make things a little more difficult to hash out as far as the budget is concerned. I have read through the budget. I keep looking at it. I don't feel comfortable yet giving specific opinions as to what should change or how we should do things differently. But like I said, I do believe that education is the cornerstone. And so when we get into the budget situations, that's where my mind will be and how I will approach it with that perspective in mind.
Thank you. And Ms. Sevigny.
I believe, budget obviously is going to be a major situation coming up with the next school budget, as it comes along. But I would say the most important thing would be academically getting our kids back on track. Special education is extremely costly. And as a mother with a child with an IEP, I'm concerned about all those children who are below grade level and the space that has kind of grown with COVID for those who were already behind and how further behind they are right now. I feel like this is definitely a pressing matter, and how we're going to do to get that gap to be lessened.
Thank you. Shawn?
Okay. The fourth and final question. Every year that Tammy and I have moderated this forum together, we have asked this question, and the responses are often very interesting. So, to the incumbent, Ms. Sheffield, please provide us with an example of a time when you feel you erred during your service as a school committee member, and tell us what you learned from the experience. Let's see, Ms. Sevigny and Ms. Cote, when we come around to you, as the challengers, we will be asking you to give us an example of a time when the incumbent shined in her role and cast a vote or advocated on an issue in a way you felt was in the best interest of our students. And first up is Ms. Cote.
Am I unmuted? Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. So I think this is coming just from a personal perspective. Being a teacher, having taught, curriculum is always something that's close to my heart. And basically everything that has to do with curriculum that Emily has done, I found pretty impressive, as well as the work with the new schools, getting all the construction taken care of. Sorry.
Excellent. Next up, as a challenger, please answer, Ms. Sevigny, what you feel Ms. Sheffield has done well, has shined in her role in service to the community as a school committee member that you feel has served our students well.
I think Emily has done a great job at advocating for the students, especially just with social emotional learning and always trying to put them first. I know that she was a big supporter of Challenge Day, which is been very in need, I guess, and I really appreciated her support with that, as well as just watching her when she's in it. She's always kind of looking at the larger picture and putting herself in those students or those families' shoes.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Ms. Sevigny. And last but not least, Ms. Sheffield as the incumbent. Just as a reminder for you, please provide us an example of a time when, as a school committee member, perhaps you erred, and please tell us what you learned from that experience.
Shawn, I'm sorry, your audio was cutting out. I'm sorry. Can
you hear me now?
Yeah, just the first part.
Absolutely, happy to help. As the incumbent, please provide us with an example of a time when you feel as a school committee member you had erred, but learned from the experience.
Sure. first of all, ladies, thank you so much for those kind words. That was really, really nice of you. Where I have aired. Well, so I think where I've aired a few times has actually been behind the scenes and maybe not in front of the camera and what you see. So we do have executive sessions in school committee that we talk about tough subjects, and I have at times acted a little too passionately and maybe some irrational behavior. But again, that's because I'm so passionate. So sometimes just keeping my composure and working on that and having patience with working with others. And I'm feeling very vulnerable right now admitting that, but it is something that I work on every single day to work collaboratively with my other committee members.
Excellent. Thank you so much for answering that question. Tammy and I like that one. We ask it every year and answered skillfully. It can be an opportunity to show grace and a capacity for self-reflection, and that's what you, all three of you did. Thank you very much. We are now moving on to the final statements, closing statements, 2-minute elevator pitches for each of you. And first up is Ms. Sheffield.
Thank you for the opportunity, and to those who helped organize this event. Candidates Night is one of my favorite events, whether I'm directly participating as a candidate or not. I think it's vital to the community to stay informed. So I hope that this event is going to stay for years to come. On November 3rd, and also if you're choosing to vote early, I hope I have earned your vote for re-election for school committee. This would be my second term, and I wish to continue the good work that I have started. These past 3 years have been some of the most rewarding in my life, and I'm proud of the work that I've done, but recognize that I still have more to do. And I believe in an effective leader. I believe that I'm an effective leader by communicating well with others, collaborating with others, focusing on all student achievement on all levels, and making fiscally responsible decisions with our budget. I truly have no one agenda in mind. I'm focused on a vision for the Sanford School District at large. As I said before, I strongly believe that the public education system is intimately tied to the vitality of any community. And that belief will never change for me, whether I have children here in the Sanford schools or not. Lastly, I want to say it's been a privilege serving my local community. However, no matter whom you choose for these 2 seats, there will be no losers in Sanford and Springvale. The voters are truly blessed. We have 3 capable and qualified women before you. And so as I say that, please get out and vote this year. You can find all the voting information on the city website at sanfordmaine.org.
Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Sheffield. Next up, Ms. Cote.
Yeah, please, everybody, get out and vote. It's so important, especially now. I would like to say that service is so important to me. It's important to our families, my husband and our kids, and I have been waiting for the right time, for the right time for our family, for the right time for myself as a mother of 5, and it's finally here. I love this community. I love Sanford. We made a very conscious decision to bring our kids here and raise them here. I've taught in this district. I've also taught in other districts in Maine. I've taught in Florida. I've also have experienced personally school systems in other countries, and I hope to bring all of this knowledge and, my own personal experiences to the table to see how I can help. I don't want to sit in the sidelines anymore and just kind of comment on whatever's coming down the pike. And I don't want to sit in a gripe session anymore. I want to be part of the solution, and I want to move our schools and our community forward in every aspect that has to do with kids. So I hope that you vote for me. If you don't, Emily and Amy would also do a great job. And I just hope that you get out and vote, and please think of me. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Ms. Sevigny.
All right. I'm a lifelong Sanford resident and a graduate of Sanford High School, class of 1995. My husband and I have 5 children in 3 of the Sanford schools: Carl J. Lamb, Sanford Middle School, and Sanford High School. Like many of you, my children are all different and have varying needs. Because of this, I believe I'd be a great representative for parents whose children both struggle academically as well as soar. My husband and I are homeowners and own a local business, so I understand the concerns many have around the school budget and keeping our local taxes reasonable. I'm enthusiastic, positive, driven, and solution-focused, and I'm committed to serving the students of Sanford. We have a lot to be proud of when it comes to our school system. In addition, we have some areas that could use some improvement. Good communication is the backbone of any organization, and we have the means and the infrastructure to make these improvements. As our strong communication grows, I also believe that our Spartan spirit will grow as well. This is a spirit of community pride, inclusion, and accomplishment. Pre-COVID, our school community was making great gains in this through Challenge Day, a coordinated event that I led to bring to the middle school and the Sanford High School students the past 2 school years. And some other examples are This Is Us, the United basketball team at Sanford High, and the fall festivals at all of our elementary schools. I have worked at the ground level to increase parent voice in the schools. Over the years, as a co-PTA president at Carl J. Lamb School, I've helped raise over $100,000 to fund programs that otherwise our children would not be able to benefit from, including field trips. I also started the Sanford Junior High School PTA 3 years ago when I saw a need. I am a doer who gets things done, a strong advocate, a coach for youth sports, and I'm a pediatric nurse. I'm a solution-focused mama, and I always try to find ways to bring people together, look outside the box, and find common ground to find solutions. I hope this November you all will vote for me for Sanford School Committee. Get out there and vote, please. Thanks.
Thank you, all 3 of you. Thank you so much for being a part of this. We appreciate it and your time this evening. This concludes the Sanford School Committee segment of our Candidates Forum. Just a few things before we go. I want to thank a few people. Tammy, thank you. We also have Brett Williams, the Sanford Performing Arts Center Director. He has actually been helping us with the audio this evening. Sarah Schnell, the manager of WSSR-TV, has also been helping with the technical aspects of this production. Paul Auger, he is a history teacher at the high school and a local historian. He has been our timekeeper. And last but not least, we have Ann Hanselman, City Councilor, who has organized this whole thing and has put together this team and has reached out to all the candidates to make this event happen. And so for that, we thank you. Thank you very much. And as the candidates themselves said, Tuesday, November 3 is coming on up. Please vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a great one.
You too.